Everyone's definition of a breakout in fantasy football seems to differ, but today we are going to break down 5 options who are guaranteed to far outkick their current average draft positions. But before we dig in, head over to 4for4.com and use promo code YouTube to get yourself 25% off any subscription plan.
From the 35, Stevenson, first down and more. Rhamondre Stevenson still going. Chased by Curl. Stevenson into the end zone. 64 yards for a New England touchdown.
Stranger things have happened than a 4th-year re-breakout. Rhamondre Stevenson's 3rd year in the NFL was marred by injury and a woefully inefficient offense, 2 things that look to be improved as we head into 2024. The Patriots signed off on a bill of health earlier in this offseason, giving the running back a 4-year, $36 million contract that would have ranked 3rd in AAV among free agents, behind only Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley. New England registered only 88 offensive plays from within the red zone, the lowest number since at least 2019. This led to a 31st ranked offense and the 2nd fewest rush attempts from within the opponent's 5-yard line, only 8. Things may have been better had Stevenson himself not missed time, but it seemed like they were cursed to wallow in poor play regardless who was taking snaps behind Mac Jones. Beyond a simple regression to the mean that should give the team more looks near the end zone, they took Drake May with the 3rd overall selection and added OC Alex Van Pelt, which should add some dynamism to the offense. They also added 2 wide receivers, Jalen Polk in the 2nd round and Javon Baker in the 4th round, as well as Caden Wallace and Layden Robinson to add some competition to an underperforming offensive line. Stevenson was the RB13 back in 2022 on a team that featured Jones and Bailey Zappi at quarterback, so there's precedent to him being a fringe RB1 in a backfield that will run through him.
Goff looking deep, wants it all. Jameson Williams looking for the ball. Got it! Touchdown!
It's been a wild first 2 seasons for the former Alabama receiver. After tearing his ACL on a long reception in the national championship game, Williams was forced to miss the vast majority of his rookie season, with his only catch being a 41-yard touchdown. He only ran 37 routes through that 2022 season, but looked poised to make a splash as a sophomore on what looked to be an ascending offense. Things took a turn for the worse when it was announced that Williams would be suspended for the first 4 games of the 2023 season due to violating the NFL's gambling policy. When he returned to the field in Week 5, the Lions more or less were using him in a rotational role. Over the next 9 games, he ran less than 20 routes and accrued less than 20 yards in 6 of them, while being held catchless in 2. The first real flashes of success finally came between weeks 15 and through the playoffs, including a touchdown in the NFC Championship game. In that stretch run, Williams accounted for 25 targets, nearly doubling his career total up to that point, while finishing 2nd on the team with his 25% air yard share and led Detroit with the 14.7 average depth of target. Though the corresponding production wasn't anything incredible, that usage should give us an idea of how the team views their former first-round pick moving forward. In a summertime coach presser, head coach Dan Campbell had this to say, quote, "If you said give me one player that is the most improved this offseason, J-Mo would be the guy right now. He's on a mission, and I'm just going to leave it at that." End quote. Optimistic coach speak runs rampant through the preseason, but the team said just as much with the roster moves as Campbell has been saying this offseason. Through the NFL draft, the Lions didn't spend a single day 1 or day 2 selection on the offensive side of the ball, and when they eventually did, they invested in the offensive line and a running back who worked with the safeties at the NFL scouting combine. On top of that, they allowed Josh Reynolds to walk in free agency, with Jameson Williams set to line up in 2 wide receiver sets with Amon-Ra St. Brown. For all of the knee-biting quotes and perceptions that the Lions are a run-first team, they finished 2023 with the 9th most passing attempts and the 2nd most passing yards, while maintaining a league average pass-to-run ratio in neutral situations. They also just signed quarterback Jared Goff to a 4-year, $212 million extension in May, so they presumably have no issues running the offense through him. Williams is set up to make a fantasy impact that we've been waiting for since he was taken as the 12th overall selection. He is currently on the cusp of the 9th and 10th round, and is coming off boards as the wide receiver 49.
Love, 2 fakes, and he finds Musgrave for what might be the knockout punch on the first touchdown of the rookie's career.
While no one is confusing Luke Musgrave's rookie season with that of Sam Laporta's, it doesn't mean that there weren't some encouraging signs for the Packers sophomore. His usage in the downfield attack of what would become a fantastic passing game is one of those signs of encouragement, as evidenced in his 5-game span between Week 9 and the wildcard round of the playoffs, in which he had 3 catches of 25-plus yards. He only played 5 games in that span because of an ab injury that landed him on the IR, clearing the way for fellow rookie Tucker Kraft to show what he could do as the unquestioned tight end 1. The shoe may now be on the other foot, at least for the beginning of the 2024 season, with Kraft tearing his pec earlier this offseason. Even if he is at full health in week 1, which seems like a bit of a stretch, there's a chance that he will need some time to recover in season, resulting in Musgrave taking a stand as the number 1 option. The other elephant in the room here is the loaded wide receiver room, which is already doing a great job of cannibalizing itself to the point that there is no, quote, true wide receiver 1. It's certainly going to create a risky floor for Musgrave on a week-to-week basis, but if he can flash his big play ability with enough consistency, he'll be a great boom-bust option that offers more upside than most of the players going in this ADP range.
As Javonte Williams takes the handoff, and Williams, nice second effort, still going. Javonte Williams carrying defenders.
Javonte Williams will be one more year removed from his 2022 ACL tear as he heads into 2024. In 2021, Williams was a fantasy stud as a rookie, earning 254 opportunities en route to the overall RB17 finish in half PPR leagues. Though he is a part of a convoluted backfield, he can take over as the number 1 role. He can allow the rest of the depth chart to fight for scraps. That said, he did look like a shell of his former self last season, earning 3.6 yards per carry and a 46th ranked 2.71 yards created after contact. His subsequent 9.7 half PPR points per game landed him as the RB32, boosted by his 55 targets. He may have rushed back to the field before he was ready, but that didn't stop the team from adding Audric Estime in the draft while retaining both Samaje Perine and Jaleel McLaughlin. Some spark of good news came through this week, though, as the team did finally release Perine. This was after the team allowed Javonte 7 touches in the preseason before pulling the plug, and all but guarantees a 1-2 punch with himself and McLaughlin. This also opens up more passing game usage, as Perine logged 53 targets on 218 routes run last season on an offense that targeted the running back position at the highest clip. This was despite the Broncos quarterbacks dropping back 604 times, the 4th lowest mark in the league. There's no doubt that we have an ambiguous backfield on our hands, but it has pushed Javonte Williams down into the 8th round. I'm not in love with the situation, but taking Sean Payton's RB1 that deep in a draft is a risk I'm willing to take.
The Washington Commanders select Jayden Daniels, quarterback, LSU.
This has just gone from an unwatchable offensive product to must-see TV.
This guy's effortless throwing the ball. You know, again, I know his running gets a lot of hype and all of that, but damn, is he made to throw a football in the pocket. Yeah, I'm excited to see what Jayden Daniels can do there.
After years of cycling through middle-of-the-road veteran options, the Commanders used their 2nd overall selection to grab Daniels. A dynamic rusher with a huge arm, Daniels provides an upgrade for incumbent Terry McLaurin. It makes the likes of De'Ami Brown and Olamide Zaccheaus a little more interesting. The 2024 draft class also brings Luke McCaffrey and tight end Ben Sinnott. Daniels' mix of playmaking ability with both his legs and arm makes him an intriguing fantasy piece in his rookie year and beyond. Over his 2 years at LSU, Daniels led all FBS quarterbacks in rushing twice, threw for 57 touchdowns to only 7 interceptions, and received a slew of awards, namely the Heisman Trophy in 2023. Daniels consistently tested defenses down the field with his legs, accounting for 90 plays of 20-plus yards last season, while leading draft-eligible quarterbacks with a 69.1% adjusted completion rate on passes 20 or more yards down the field. When Daniels was asked to create independently, he was more than capable. He accrued 512 yards and 6 touchdowns on QB draws and QB design runs, but the dagger came when he could escape the pocket on passing plays. That was never more evident than in LSU's matchup against a stout Alabama defense last season when he ran for 163 yards and 6 first downs. Being given the keys to the car right off the bat won't always yield fantasy success. Look at Bryce Young's rookie season last year. But the Commanders have a fairly good infrastructure to invite Daniels into, unlike what the Panthers had last season. Terry McLaurin is a legitimate threat at all areas of the field, while Zach Ertz and rookie Ben Sinnott combine as a perfectly capable tight end duo. Fellow rookie Luke McCaffrey should grow into a nice slot option, while Austin Eckler will look to bounce back into one of the best pass-catching backs in the league after an injury-laden 2023. The Commanders were one of the best landing spots among the quarterback-needy teams, and Jayden Daniels has a nice infrastructure of pass catchers and an improving line. Daniels has some work to do at the next level, including working through his reads and sliding from time to time, but it shouldn't take long for him to be putting up crooked numbers in fantasy box scores. Fantasy managers are understandably trepidatious about rookie rushing quarterbacks after Anthony Richardson only logged 4 games last season, but Daniels is currently coming off draft boards as the QB 12 in the 9th or 10th round. That's a perfectly reasonable price to pay for his upside.